this is Russ. I thought I'd take you guys out on a bike ride. I actually did it earlier in the morning. What time is it right now? It's 11:22 a.m. currently. This is kind of late for me to go out, but I had already gone out once. I did the 3-mile circular ride around the forest preserve. It's actually more than 3 miles because the way I go now, I do the entire path. I go in a different way and then I go around there a couple times. I did 10 miles this morning already. But I went back home, charged up the big battery, and decided to go back out again. So I guess the drive to get outside and back on the bike, it's more pulling on me than I thought. Because I could have stayed home, I could have been done for the day. And I said, well, what am I going to do? I know all I'll probably be doing is sit in front of a computer, watching a bunch of YouTube videos, watching the stock market maybe, thinking about things I should be doing, and not getting anything accomplished. So I said, I might as well go out. Now it's definitely warmer. It's definitely warmer now than it was in the morning. But as long as the wind blows on you, it's not so bad. I think it's about 82 degrees out right now. So I decided I'm going to head back out to Bussy Woods this time. Now I know it's farther and it's more effort to get there. I mean, I ride 10 to 11 miles just to get there, 10 to 11 miles just to get back. And then, of course, Bussy Woods itself is 11-something miles going around just once. So it sounds like a lot. But I tell you, with the e-bike, it's not that bad, really. Now, I don't pedal the whole time. I would say I do about 50% pedaling if I'm going out to Bussy Woods. I know I can't do the whole thing, but I try my best to at least pedal getting there and pedal getting back. But I know usually heading back home, I'm a little tired out. So a lot of times I'll throttle a good chunk of that ride back home. And then also with the new battery on the bike now, I know that if I did it that way, I have 49 miles out of that and at least another 26 miles out of the other battery. I always bring the original rad battery with me, even if I'm using the larger Chinese battery. The Chinese battery does have a name, but I always call it the Chinese battery. There's a lot of hatred for these Chinese batteries, I tell you. If you watch some of the Facebook group forums that are out there and you mention the Chinese battery, you get some guys who'll just jump on and saying, you get what you pay for. Yeah, I got what I paid for. I got more than what I paid for. So yeah, a lot of them don't like these Chinese batteries. They think they're inferior. But I'll have to tell you, so far, I've been very impressed with it. I think the thing that I have to be more nervous about is longevity of the battery. That's an unknown. Nobody really knows exactly what that will be. So, but hey, even if it lasted me 2 years, I think I'd be happy with it. All right, so let's see. We got to cross this road. This is always hard to tell because you can't see in both directions. There's things blocking your view, and you don't want to just ride up into the intersection. And of course, slowing down to the point of stopping, you always have a tendency to fall. So I think I'm not too thrilled with that particular intersection. The rest of it's not so bad. Hey, did I tell you guys that I had some guy record me when I was riding past his house? I don't remember which street it was on, but it was like one of these streets that I passed when I'm going there. Maybe he's seen me ride past his street several times and he happened to be out, so he pulled out his cell phone and started recording me. Maybe he thinks I'm casing the joint. Or maybe one day he's thinking he'd like to get an e-bike. One of those two things. So the last time I was out here at Bussy Woods, I had an incident with the cable for my front brake. Yeah, you know, the cables, you need to check everything. And that's one thing I didn't really check on, is to find out whether the brake cable was loosening up. There's a little hex nut that you have to tighten, and it probably loosened up. So what happens is when I pulled on the front brake, I had no brake. That was a little scary. So of course I used my rear brake and feathered it as best I could. Okay, this is kind of messy here. And slowed myself down, and then pulled out my tools and pulled the cable tight and tightened up the cable. So the front brake is fine. Now, there is an adjustment right at the handlebar area, right where your brake lever is. You can turn that thing and that'll tighten it up, but it didn't do any good at that point because it was already way loose. So check everything. Yeah, check your brakes, check your air pressure, check your quick release on your tire, make sure everything's tight. So anyways, when I was fixing the brake, I just pulled off to the side at Bussy Woods, and an older gentleman rode up to me and asked me, what was going on. I said my brake cable had loosened up. I needed to tighten it up. It's no big deal. I know how to do it. And so he was asking me about the bike, and so I was telling him a little bit about the bike. So yeah, people will stop and ask you. I think he was more interested in the bike than it is to find out what happened to me. Alright, so now we approach Palatine Road. We have to pass through here. Good, we have a green light. So we should be able to pass through here fine. And as you know, I always throttle through that. I want to get past there as fast as I can. And we go back to pedaling now. Yeah, so the whole point is heading out to Bussy gives me a reason to go someplace. I feel like I'm actually headed somewhere. Versus going to that 3-mile circular path. It's closer by, easier to deal with, but I don't feel like I'm getting anywhere. I feel like I'm just riding around in a circle. So, I mean, you do the same thing at Bussy. You do kind of ride around in a circle, but there's a lot of things to see. You can stop and look at things out on the water. There's things to do. So, or sometimes you see some elk, and you record some elk and show it to you guys. All right, so I have confirmed there's at least 3 elk out there, because the last time I recorded the elk, I'll put some footage for you to see it. I looked at the antlers, and it's not the same antlers as the other elk that I recorded. So we know that there's at least 2 male elk out there and 1 female elk that was laying down. So we know there's at least 3 elk out there. Now, according to our subscriber Vicky, she says there at one time there was probably like 100 elk out there. So where did all these other elk go? Did they just die off over the years, or what? What happened to them all? I always wondered too where these elk go to hide during the day, because they don't really want to be out to be seen. But these elk are not afraid of people. I went right up to the fence put my camera right through, the lens right through the fence links and recorded them. They don't seem to care. They're used to the people seeing them. So yes, definitely I feel the heat. It's a little bit warmer than I'm used to because I usually ride in the mornings. But like I said, the wind is blowing on me, so it's not so bad. You know, when the wind blows, half the time I could barely hear myself because the wind blows up and against your ears. You can't tell what you're really saying. But of course, when I edit and I listen to it, I can hear it perfectly fine. That's the power of the windscreen. It's really cutting down a lot of the wind noise. Now, I know a lot of other videos that we watch when people are outside and wind is blowing up against them, especially some other bike videos, you might not even understand what the guy's saying. I'd have to give it up to this microphone because it really cuts it down quite a bit. You hear it, but you don't hear the extreme harsh rumbling where you can't even make out the guy's voice. All right. So for local guys, I am on Oakton Street right now. So yeah, getting to Bussey Woods now with the new path is a lot easier. I think the only hard road to take is New Wilkie Road, but we're only on that for, I don't know what, half a mile maybe? 1 mile? 1 mile maybe. And that's, although it's busy, is not like Goff Road busy. Speed up here. Yeah, I noticed that sometimes that cars will stop at their stop signs and they'll wait for me to turn or to pass. Because you don't want to hit a bike rider. that would be one of the worst things you can do as a motorist. You know, you get in a car accident. All right, that's not good. But you get in an accident with a bike rider. That could be fatal for the bike rider. So nobody wants to do that. Yeah, let me talk real quickly too about this bike map program. I've been using the bike map program now for most of my rides. If you make one error in judgment with the bike map, you pass up a recommendation of a turn, that map will literally spin around in circles. It really doesn't know what to do. I've even had to go where I've had road closures and I had to do a bypass to another road, and that really throws this whole map off. So it doesn't seem to correct itself. I think once you tell it where you want to go, you give it an address, it plots it out for you and it expects you to take it. And if you don't take those roads, it's going to take it a long time to figure out. So just a word of warning for anyone using the Bike Map app on their phones. Okay, it's not so bad. You just got to remember what direction you're heading and try to make the correction, get back onto the roads it's telling you to go on as fast as you can. So somebody had asked me before, what speed am I normally pedaling at? I think I'm averaging 15, 16 miles an hour for most of my rides. So when you're seeing me on the street here, unless I'm doing something like a major road and I need to pass up intersections, if I'm just riding on the street, I'm usually around 15 or 16 miles an hour. I'm sorry I don't show you guys the speedometer more often. But yeah, I don't really remember to do that sometimes. All right, we are passing Euclid Avenue for those who are local. So yeah, at least when you see me moving, you know roughly how fast we're moving. And this is Northwest Highway that we're going to pass right now. I will say too that this new battery does seem peppier. I don't think it's just my imagination. I feel like when I'm pedaling, I'm going a lot faster, even though it may only be a mile or 2 per hour faster. It seems faster than when I'm using the rad battery. I don't know if this is supposed to just give you top speed faster, but if I'm correct, even standard riding seems to do that. All right, I gotta change the camera out here. So let me pull over to do that. Yeah, so it does feel peppier to me. I'm riding on pedal assist level 3, gear number 6, and every rotation seems to want to pull me faster. Now I could go on 2. Let me go down on 2. But even on 2, I feel like I'm peppier. Like you get a little bit more out of every turn of the crank. I like 3. I think that's the one thing, with this bigger battery. I'm finding I can go on pedal assist level 3 and not worry too much about the battery consumption. I think just having that freedom, knowing that I can do more things now the way I want to do it and not have to constantly worry about my distance and not having enough power to get back, that's made the ride a lot more enjoyable. The only drawback is I'm carrying more weight around. The battery's heavy and big, but you don't notice the weight when it's on the bike. Where I notice the weight is getting on and off the bike, because I have to tilt the bike in order to swing my leg over, and that tilt, I can tell that the bike is heavier, trying to hold up the bike as I'm tilting it to get on and get off. I think that's the only time I really noticed the weight of the battery. And of course I had been bringing my bike lock and chain. I didn't bring it this time. I left inside my pannier bags the bike cable. I have a cable that I use to lock to the front wheel. I brought that and the lock, the kryptonite lock. But really, that cable is not going to do anything. I figured having that is okay if I needed to run into the washroom or something like that while I'm out at Bussy, just to lock the front wheel to the bike. It does take a little bit of time, and unless somebody's walking around with a big bolt cutter looking for bikes, all right, it's probably going to be safe enough for you to at least go to the washroom. But more and more I keep thinking I should have bought the ABIS lock. It's more costly than the chain, but the chain being so heavy and bulky and the like, you don't really want to carry it along with you, and that kind of defeats the whole purpose, right? You got to have the chain and lock with you. So maybe one day I'll buy an ABIS lock. Maybe if enough people buy a rad bike and I get a $50 commission from rad, if 4 of you guys do that, then yeah, I'll have enough money to buy an ABIS lock at least.
Turn left onto West Maple Street.
Whoops, I think I passed up Maple Street.
Turn right onto West Maple Street.
All right, well.
Turn left onto West Kirkhoff Road.
Let's see. It says I should take a left since I didn't take the right, left when I should have. I don't know. let's see what we should do. Maybe we should cross the street and then take a left. Let's see what that does. So yeah, I missed the turn. So we had to go back around it. Hey, it figured itself out. After I just said that it has a hard time figuring it out. Maybe I didn't go far enough away to mess it up. Alright, so over here, it always tells me on the sign to go up on the sidewalk and not to take the street, but I got to take a left turn at the next street. So what I do is I look to see how many cars we have. Yeah, we got too many cars. If we have too many cars, I will take the sidewalk. And the reason is because I actually need to get to the left turn lane. And if there's too many cars, it's hard to deal with that. So I'll take the sidewalk, cross the street, and then follow the light to cross over. So here's what I usually do. So I will hit the turn, hit the crosswalk signal. Just so I can cross over. Yeah, there's not a whole lot to talk about when you're just standing here waiting to cross the street. Sometimes these lights take a while. And the good thing is there's a taxi next to me waiting to cross the street as well, so he will be signaling the light. I know my bike doesn't have enough weight or enough metal to set off the sensors on the street. All right. All right, we're through. Yeah, so do you guys like these rides going to Bussy Woods? I don't know if I've heard back from anybody about that. Do you like seeing these, or do you just like seeing the actual ride at Bussy Woods? Now, the last couple of times I've done Bussy, I didn't do the entire Bussy Woods on video for you guys because it is an 11-mile circular path, and that would be a long video too. And so I usually end up talking in the beginning part of it, and then I shut off, and then you never see the back part of it. I think this time I'm going to end up having to break this up into 2 videos again. I know Dan does not like that. Oh well, but it's too long, so I'm going to break it up into 2. So this one will be just the ride to get there. And then I'll turn on the video again, maybe on the second half of the ride of Bussy. How's that? And that will be our part 2 of the video. Because you always see the first part of it as I get there, but you don't really see the tail end of it. So let's show you the tail end again.
Turn right onto West Eibike Street.
All right. So I think maybe the last videos you may have seen, I talked about getting new tires. I decided to stick with the Kenda tires that came with the Rad Power Bikes. They're not the best tires. Most people don't like them, it seems. But for the price of $49 plus $10 shipping for both tires, so $49 times 2, $10 for shipping plus tax. It was the least expensive option, and it has the little nubs on there, so you hear that. Whenever you hear the whining, you're not hearing my motor, you're hearing the tire on the pavement, that humming. Okay, that's the little nubs. So had I gone to the smooth Originate supercells, you would not have heard any of that, and supposedly it will roll quicker because it's less rolling resistance. But the price of those tires keep going up. I found another source online that sold them for $78, but reviews were kind of negative for this retailer, saying that they never got their tires and had problems with the retailer. And when you read stuff like that, I don't want to order from a place like that. The reviews aren't great. Usually if I order, I'll order on Amazon, so at least I have Amazon to try to back me up if something happened. So when they raised the price on those tires, that killed the sale for them. I was not going to order. I was already thinking at $77 what they were selling it for. It was a bit much. Now it's like $90.28, something like that. So forget it. I'm not doing it. So I ordered the Kendas. And so far, the Kendas have served me well. I've gotten over 1,500 miles. I'm at 1,550 miles right at this moment. So we know we're going to get probably at least 1,800 miles, if not more. So let me angle my bike a little bit here. See if that'll trigger. This particular one seemed to trigger whenever I did this. Let's see if it'll do it again. There's a car behind me, but of course they never move up far enough. Okay, he's moving up. Alright, so just to let him know, I put a hand signal out, let him know I'm turning left. Alright, so this is New Wilkie Road for the local guys. And this road I always throttle. And I will throttle fast because I don't want to stay on the road long. I want to get off the road as fast as I can. So I speed myself through here. We're doing 22, 23 miles an hour right now, going up a slight incline. All right, let's see if we're lucky and we can, nope, we're not lucky. Yeah, I hate that. So we're gonna have to stop. Yep, we don't go fast enough to beat the light. So the only thing I could hope usually is for another car, which will get behind me here, and that they will trigger the light for me. Somebody wants to turn right, but I gave him plenty of room to be able to turn right, but he's not doing it. Yeah, cars stay pretty much away from me. They're all stacked up behind me, but they're not even close to me. The problem with that is sometimes they won't set off the sensor either if they're too far away from the sensor. But we do have cars across the road, so we know that that will censor and set it off. We just gotta wait. Yeah, New Wilkie Road can get busy, but it's not like Gulf Road busy. Gulf Road busy is like crazy busy. All right. All right, so we're doing 23 miles an hour. 24. Alright, so now I need to get over to the middle lane. Well, Portillo's Hot Dogs is open, which is to my right, but we're not getting a hot dog. Yeah, really packed up with cars here today. If you wait late, everyone's out on the road. That is the drawback. Early in the morning, you have cars going to work, but it seems a lot busier now. Probably everyone's off to lunch or something. For those that are local, there's Portillo's. There's their sign in case you see it. We're not doing Portillo's. All right, here we go. So we have made it here safely. I'll bring you up a little bit here. Now I fully expect to see more people on the bike path at Bussy. Get this guy through. Yeah, this is the second time I've been out today, like I mentioned. I went out earlier in the morning, and then I got drawn to go back out again. So I charged up my big battery, put it back on the bike, and out I am at Bussy this time. So Bussy tends to be more interesting to me than the ones that we've been doing before because it's longer. I have to go a distance to get here. I have to go a distance to get back home. I go around in a circle here. I see water. I see wildlife. Sometimes we see elk. So yeah, it has more of a draw for me. I keep saying I want to rig up a fishing rod so I can go fishing out here. I've been too lazy to do it. All I need to do is get a PVC pipe that maybe is like 3 inches. Maybe even a 2-inch diameter would do it if I just wanted to bring one fishing rod. But I think a 3-inch would be better because then I could put a net in there as well. I don't know. Got to figure out something. Alright, we're going to turn left here. Because I know if I go straight, I would just end up having to turn back around. So this area is a good area for fishing, but you got to climb down the rocks here. Let me pull over here so you guys can see this better. All right, let's look to the left here. Still attached to my body here with the camera, but you see it's nice and wide open. There's nobody out here right now. There's one guy who was climbing down, and then over here on the right side, smaller area. I saw a guy catch something out there before, but you got to climb down there, and I'm not climbing down. If I were to fish here, the best I could do is these right over the top of the railing. Which you can do, but hauling the fish up, it's a little harder if you catch one. Doesn't matter anyways. Even if I caught one, I would release them. So if the fish were to fall off the line, trying to bring it up, big deal. you caught him, as far as I'm concerned. So anyways, it's quite quiet for a while. I was watching a guy who was riding behind me, debating whether I should speed up or let him pass. I don't know what happened to him. He kind of disappeared on me. I think as we go down this area, we go a little bit further, it's when we actually start seeing the elk section. I posted recently on Facebook a video which I showed you guys last time of the elk. I'll show it to you again. And they friends were asking me, where are you? Because I think a lot of us don't know that there's actually elk here at Bussy Woods. So yeah, if you come out in this area, you got to go through the bike path though. But I think there's a more accessible area you can get straight to it. I don't think you have to really be in the bike path to get to the elk. Yeah, I like seeing them out here, but I kind of feel sorry for them too, because I know that they're kind of captive in there. They don't have a whole, they have a whole area, but that's not like being roaming free, right? So, and we're still wondering what happened to all the other elk that used to live out there. If they died off, or if they moved them on to other areas, or what. If we see some, we'll stop. Somehow I kind of figure this late in the day they'd be hiding out somewhere. And they don't like to be hot either. They've got to find some shelter somewhere. Yeah, so Bussy has a lot to offer. It's got a lot of path, a lot of variety. That's what I like about it. All these years I've never been on it. Always wanted to go, never did it. Even with the mountain bike, I don't think I would have been able to do it. This is a long ride. I contacted one of my friends, Andy, and he mentioned before, he says, if you ever do Bussy, let me know. Maybe I'll do it with you. Well, he doesn't have an e-bike, so if he does it, we'll be going a little slower. And for him to do the entire thing, like I said, it's a long ride. It's like 11 miles. That's a lot of riding, and especially if you don't ride a lot. And I know he hasn't been riding his bike a lot, so I think it would be quite a challenge for him to do it if he did it. For me, I could just throttle it if I wanted to, which I'm doing right now, by the way. Kind of throttle, and then I pedal, then I throttle, then I pedal. It's just easier. So I don't really expend a lot of energy. That's why people wonder if I'm losing any weight with the bike, and I have to say no, I'm really not. But I am toning up my muscles. I know that. So I know my leg is getting stronger because I've leaned to the left with the bike and I haven't fallen off the bike. I was able to keep myself up with the addition of the added weight from the battery and the chain and the lock. So if anything, all of this riding for the last 4 months, because I've had the bike now for 4 months, it's strengthened my leg and my knee. Okay, this is the area where the elk typically is. So I'm going to slow down and just look. But let me angle the camera a little bit here. It's off to that side. Just leave it on an angle for you here. Oh, there's one right there. Okay. He's kind of hiding. Let me move forward a little bit. All right. Let's move off to the side here. I don't know if you guys can see it. You know, I'm going to get off the bike here. Yeah, this is hard for me to get off. I'm kind of like tilted on an angle here. Hold on. All right, I'm off. All right. That was an ordeal. Here's the bike. Here's the elk. Let me see if I can go through here a little bit. Can you guys see that? Let me angle a little here. Let me zoom in. Slow zoom there. You guys see him? He's just sitting there, standing there really. So yeah, we do get elk out here, but it's all enclosed. All right, let me zoom back out. So yeah, it is a fenced in area, right? All right, let me reset my camera here. I know it's a little jerky while I'm doing this. All right, let me get back on the bike. You can see the ordeal I go through just to get a shot. All right, I'm back up. Well, at least we got to see a live shot. Let me angle my camera again here. The camera got all messed up. All right, we're gonna have to pull off for a second here, fix this camera. Now, you may have noticed before when I had a camera facing me, you might have noticed the white tape that's on the knob that connects my camera to the chest mount. And the reason I have that is not because I needed to tape the knob, because the knob is falling apart, is because the stickiness from the tape on the underneath side of that knob gives a little bit more for the knob to grab onto the camera so it doesn't spin the camera around. That's why I do it. So yeah, you usually miss this section because I usually start my video when I first get here, and of course then it's so long that I turn off the video by the time I get down to this area, so you never even get to see this part of it much. I think you may have only gone through here maybe once, maybe twice at most. So yeah, I look forward to the elk section all the time. I always have my eyes peeled. I probably would have missed that one if one of the guys walking didn't tell me that there was an elk there. He said elk, so I looked and there it was. This is Elk Grove Village, by the way. That's why they have elk out here. It's not native, all right? I think they've imported them in. These guys have been brought into here. This is not part of Illinois. I mean, maybe if you were out in Colorado or wherever elk are usually found, be another story. Sometimes I confuse elk with moose, but moose are very large. They have different type of antlers too. The elk is a smaller animal, They have pointier antlers, little points that are sharper looking. The moose are kind of really thick looking antlers, and they're huge too. They're really big. Anyways, it's cooler over here because we're shaded by a lot of trees. Oh, let me mention too, on the 3-mile path that we had done so many times in the past, I once went down there last week, and from the storms, one of the trees had fallen right on front of the path, fallen right in the path, and it was a big thick tree, and so I had to go around it in order to pass. And then the very next day I went again, and that tree was already removed. And it was not removed, it was pushed to the side. They just left it there. I mean, it is a forest, so you kind of know trees will fall every now and then, but this was a humongous tree that uprooted. So somebody must have reported it, or forest preserves had noticed it, and so they were out immediately and moved it off the path. So now it just lies there. Anyways, just wanted to bring you guys out here. Hey, if you like the video, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. We'll do more adventures. We'll do more Bussy Woods, of course. But even though we ride the same paths sometimes, there's always new things to tell you guys. So I hope you guys follow along and listen in. Talk to you guys next time.